layups in my house. You sent Angel Reese flying like it was a Southwest commercial. That flop had Academy Award winner written all over it, but the refs really looked at that and said, yep, that's definitely murder, and gave Caitlin a flagrant like she pulled a knife out mid-play. And Angel tried to run up on her and said, you're crazy as fuck, what the fuck are you doing? And Caitlin's all like, this is just basketball. Either a layup or free throw. Pick one.
It's just a good take foul, you know? If either Angel gets wide open 2 points or, we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a good take foul. Every basketball player knows that.
And just like that, Caitlin Clark dropped the triple double. Won by 35.
On live television, Angel Reese was benched. And no, this wasn't a circumstance where the starter rested. Are you sure about that? Is how you would describe this type of benching to the coach. However, Angel, she went into full violent mode instead of pouting. Reporters blinked, supporters gasped, and even the Gatorade bottles became uneasy with her response. You won't believe what she did next. It was more than simply a statement. It was a microphone drop encased in attitude and glitter. Really, fasten your seatbelt.
Clark and Indiana People's Curly putting the beat on the Chicago side. I'm telling you right now, Angel Reese is furious because she wants to make it her business to beat Caitlin Clark this year, and I'm telling you right now.
On live TV, Angel Reese was benched. Was the basketball equivalent of being told to sit down and consider your life choices. So no, this isn't just a small rotation change or strategic substitute. However, let's not pretend that was just some typical sideline drama. No, was a full-fledged public spectacle, including the kind of lyrical timing that only occurs when the NCAA's Real Housewives are watching ESPN while sipping tea.
Reporters, well, I told you guys there would be a follow-up video on the nuclear fallout. That's exactly what it's been. Over the take foul, as Caitlin Clark is calling it, and that's a great way to say it. It was a take foul. She was trying to prevent a wide-open layup, although one could argue that she might have missed it anyway, on Angel Reese, and then Angel Reese went absolutely, utterly berserk.
What, therefore, caused Queen Ree to fall? Oh, it was only a tiny thing called sheer wrath that was let loose like an unscripted Marvel villain. Caitlin Clark, who has a three-point shooting range that stretches from Iowa to Saturn, did indeed commit a foul. Nor a technical issue, nor a serious one. Simply your typical whistleblower moment. You know the kind when everyone's elbows are flying like they're in a blender and their ankles are on fire 16 times every quarter?
Little white girl in Caitlin Clark out here busting that flat out, bro. Triple dub. I don't want to hear none of that stat pad stuff, bro. You had a triple double, and that's just the facts, man. That's just the facts. So I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, she fouled her hard, bro. It was a malicious play." Man, that was no malicious play. This is a malicious play. Check it out. What y'all gonna say?
However, Angel Reese. Oh no, she didn't just react. She burned. The fourth quarter would have been played outside if the building had a smoke alarm. To be clear, there was no typical rivalry intensity between two elite athletes who were trying to outdo one another. It was blatant hostility with a dash of, "I hope your sneakers unravel mid-dribble." It wasn't pleasant trash talk. Angel could have melted steel with the look he gave Caitlin. And because of the excitement she brought, Godzilla vs. Kong appeared to be a Mr. Rogers tea party.
We need to talk about the hard foul. Caitlin Clark foul. Angel Reese on one. People are making a big deal out of this. And me, I'm looking at it like, it was just a hard foul. I don't even think it was like, the only thing that was flagrant was Angel Reese on the spot. How she was spotted. And obviously you can see there's still a little hate. There's still a little hate out there. And I'm going to say this. WNBA, lean in on this.
Here's the real kicker, though. Nope, Reese didn't only scowl from a distance. Like she was trying out for Survivor, Basketball Beef Edition, she headed straight for Caitlin. Angel said, "I have time today," as if body language had volume. The pundits at the court were virtually choking on their popcorn. And let's just say that Caitlyn had that air of incredulity that you would anticipate from someone who had just been arbitrarily eliminated from a spelling bee. Because Caitlyn didn't take any action unless it was considered provocation. Angel reacted as though Caitlyn had criticized her jump shooting, her playlist, and her grandmother in a single sentence, even though she had committed a foul. The benching followed, and it wasn't just any benching. The type of benching in which the coach says, "Nope, I'm not dealing with this. Sit," without even looking at the player. In just 5 seconds, the audience switched from being excited to yelling. Angel didn't even dispute. What was the most frightening aspect? She sat down with a smoldering rage that only comes from those who have just been informed that they are not allowed to bring outside snacks to the movie theater. In case you missed it, Twitter blew up, and then there were the repercussions. Not only were supporters furious, they were unleashing digital bombs from all over the internet. Angel's own fans were divided between her fervor and the recent events in the WWE, and Caitlyn's admirers were posting memes more frequently than Angel was benched. The chronology abruptly appeared to be a First Take and Maury crossover episode.
Walk me through your perspective on the flagrant foul. What was the point you were trying to make of her?
It's just a good take foul, you know? If either Angel gets wide open 2 points or, we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It was a good take foul. Every basketball player.
And Angel's answer was, "Oh, hold on." She didn't say sorry. She doubled down and didn't back down. With the delicacy of a jackhammer and the grace of a freight train, Angel approached Caitlyn as if it were the off-season. She made it painfully clear. This is a full-fledged vengeance, not simply a rivalry. If she had a dartboard in her room, you could tell who was on it just by looking at her posture, her sneer, and the way she asked questions with a hurricane's variety of emotions. This was not a competitive advantage. Caitlyn would have had 6 in a tech by the end of warm-ups if appearances could have ruined this battle. Let's also discuss punishment. Because despite their claims to be all about sportsmanship and elegance, the NCAA was actually viewing that clip repeatedly as a teaser for their upcoming PR catastrophe. You don't simply lose your mind in the middle of the day and attempt to verbally abuse a fellow athlete on national television before leaving with a Gatorade and a pat on the back. It's not the 1990s. The NBA and NCAA authorities are likely putting together a committee right now, dressed in khakis and in a panic, searching desperately for ways to discipline someone without destroying their reputation, because Ree is in hot water. Ratings for March Madness.
This is pure hatred for that white girl in India. Excuse me. I need to specify. Sorry, the one that wears 22 in India.
Her instructor. He appeared to be gradually recognizing that mentoring Angel Reese could necessitate a professional babysitting minor and a degree in conflict resolution. The press conference after the game was as animated as a man attempting to explain his browsing habits to his spouse. Deep sighs, 4 smiles, and the traditional fallback. We will handle it internally. Translation: I hope the league suspends her before I have to, since I don't know what she's going to do next. The fans are experiencing an existential crisis in the meanwhile. Of these, half are yelling, "She's just passionate." The other half, meanwhile, is searching Google for "Can a player get booted for giving side-eye?" to witness the mayhem, watching the WNBA become a reality show with drama queens in sneakers while munching on popcorn. Furthermore, let's face it, this wasn't the first time Angel Reese had performed a heartfelt fireworks show. No, ever since the NCAA days, she has been transforming court hearings into elaborate soap operas. She plays with more than simply enthusiasm. She acts as though her diary was discovered, then put it up on the Jumbotron. However, that was something else last night. That was a full-blown DEFCON 1 with a ponytail. Turn the table over. The intensity of the WWE Royal Rumble in a league with purported officials and regulations. She stormed around the court as if someone had just ruined her favorite show's conclusion. Furthermore, competitive fire was the theatrical equivalent of a cartoon villain. As if no one would have blinked if she had brought out a steel chair. A theme tune and a fog machine were the only things lacking, Yet, they were present.
Responded there just to that moment. It looked like somebody was coming over talking with Angel. Coaching staff was talking with her to calm her down, make sure that it didn't escalate any further.
Yeah, I think that it's a little misrepresentation to calm her down. I think emotions were high on both sides, and so I think Angel reacted in a way that any of us would react.
Reason Angel was placed on the bench. It's true that Caitlin continued to plummet like the world didn't burn around her. One star continued to rise as the other imploded. The sound of Nike executives frantically altering their advertising efforts is almost audible. Perhaps reduce the grit and focus more on sportsmanship. At the same time, sports commentators are going insane. Is Caitlin Clark the actual Angel Reese, or is she a liability now? Everyone has an opinion. Does the locker room need a therapist? There is an adult present. Of them half sound like conspiracies. The other half sounds like uninvited theatrical reenactments from an ESPN soap opera, and you can only imagine the backstage scenes. Chef's kiss perfection is chaos. Co-workers skulking about as if they were in a haunted place, as if they were working on a breakup text. Coaches are writing apologies to PR teams in mode of breakdown. A group conversation is burning someplace. However, Angel herself receives the greatest L of the night because, let's face it, if your night is characterized by tantrum and a wooden bench, the memes will always win, regardless of how talented you are, how many rebounds you grab, or how many points you score.
We saw Caitlin Clark become the fastest player in WNBA history to have 3 triple-doubles. Besides it getting a little bit spicy with her and Reese, what did you like that you saw from Clark?
Speaking of spicy, right? I think that was just a no free buckets foul. Now, it was a hard one, and I think the refs did their job, and I'm glad we could focus on the court. But Caitlin Clark, she came in this season as the MVP favorite for 2025, and even though it's one game, you can see that it may not just be all talk. She had a triple-double, as you mentioned, 20, 10, and 10. And you can see 2 things happening. Playing with vets like DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard, it allows her to not constantly be doubled or triple teamed or trapped.
Versus Clark, it went head-to-head. Let's check out when as we pick this up early in the second. Angel Reese, she's been working on that jumper, and it's good. Some respect on it. Sky down 3 under 10 left now. Clark finds her spot, and it's a green bean. TC beating the buzzer, and then check this out on the Sky bench. Angel Reese is like, man, come on, man. Y'all need to D up. How you gonna let her get that jump? A little shade. Fever up by 13 at the break. Third quarter. Watch Reese under the hoop here. After the miss, this is what everyone's talking about. She gets a rebound, and then Clark comes in with a hard foul. Reese has to be held back as Aaliyah Boston steps in.
And we must not fool ourselves. This will not be resolved very soon. Now, Angel's meltdown is preserved in 4K. You can find it on TikTok, you can find it on Twitter, your uncle's group chat has it. Her expression mid-scream, mid-lunge, mid-drama t-shirts already have it. Highlight reels will be plagued with it for the next 10 years. It's likely that even the ESPN graphics crew is putting in extra effort to find a picture where she doesn't appear to be attempting to call forth a demon out of piqued resentment. Caitlin is most likely drinking water and updating her LinkedIn profile with a de-escalation expert. Professional at being despised without cause. This wasn't new, as evidenced by the fact that she didn't even turn to face Angel. That for months, or maybe years, this animosity has been festering, and now, on a college hot plate, it's boiling over like instant ramen. Here's the kicker, though. This was preventable. We were treated to a live-action soap opera with fewer plot twists than Patience. But this could have been a fantastic game and a chance for both sportsmen to shine. Angel's fire scorched her own bench instead of lighting the scoreboard.
Didn't get too high after the play. Now with this play, they did call a flagrant 1 on Caitlin Clark. They said that it was unnecessary contact on the play, but I immediately knew, I was like, oh crap, this is gonna be something that goes viral. A bunch of people are gonna talk about it. People are going to make it into something bigger than it needs to be.
Next question is whether the NCAA will pretend it never happened because drama boosts ratings, or if they will use her as a warning to any player. who believes that passion equates to going all Terminator Madame. Only time will tell. She could be suspended, fined, and sent to a meditation retreat with Phil Jackson and a bag of incense. Angel Reese may have the potential of a celebrity, but last night she displayed the self-control of a YouTube's comment section. Furthermore, the drama must eventually come to a stop, and basketball must resume, which is detrimental not just to her career, but also to the sport. Enjoy the bench until then. Angel. You deserve that view, not to mention the irony. Angel Reese, who had positioned herself as the fiercest competitor, the unwavering enforcer, and the queen of trash talk, just ended up doing the cosmic joke that was written in all caps on the basketball floor. She talked herself out of the game. It's like proclaiming checkmate in athletics only to discover later that you've been playing Connect 4 the entire time. Her fans are now a conspiracy theory forum. She is misinterpreted. She is simply emotional. The story is being twisted by the media. Oh, please, nothing was twisted by the media. The cameras were rolling.
Just played their first game against Chicago Sky, and folks, it was not close. It was not close. I remember my timeline was flooded with people saying, "You think you'll be a good dog fight. We're going to be a close game. It was going to come down to the wire. It was going to be great." No, it wasn't. It was a 40-point blowout. And it was a great game on one side. On the other side, it was a little question. But we got to see Caitlin Clark.
Every hot wing-fueled fan in America has their eyes fixed on the microphones. Angel's timing couldn't have been worse, and if this was a miscommunication, then the Titanic's demise was as well. The match was close. Her group required guidance. Instead, they saw a one-woman Broadway production of the musical Unhinged. The only thing more disheartening is that she opted to be the chaos organizer rather than the clutch player she should have been. The complete quiet from the rest of her team, who obviously weren't waiting to board that emotionally deflating ship, was more devastating than her breakdown. Caitlin Clark run for office at this time. She is essentially bulletproof after enduring that conflagration of rage with the poise of a guard at Buckingham Palace. Caitlin's composure and Angel's emotional demolition derby are such a dramatic contrast. One appeared to be an MVP. The other appeared to be an unpaid drama extra. Final class, and now is where the pain really begins. The penalty is on the horizon. Whether it's a lengthy character-building session with the NCAA's most sarcastic compliance officer, a punishment, or a benching that lasts longer than her lashes, Angel is going to discover that their own attitude has the power to darken even the brightest stars. Fans are starting to see that as about a pattern rather than simply one outburst. Those who yelled her name during the previous season are now questioning whether she is more of a liability than a leader.
Hilarious. Look, Angel Reese was pissed. Look at it. She's still going out there a little bit. Look, took the jersey out. The thing is, I thought Angel Reese was taking fucking food. But I don't know, man. The way Angel got up, she was like, Look at that. Ooh. I mean, she was getting after it.
A lot of hate going on out there. And I mean, hate from Angel Reese fans onto both Indiana Fever fans and guys that just want to talk about sports like Robert.
And she had the opportunity to improve the sport and demonstrate to future athletes how to overcome hardship. Rather, she demonstrated to them how to waste a valuable moment for the sake of being petty. If she isn't cautious, this won't be a footnote. It will be her legacy. Thus, welcome to the public opinion court. Angel. The decision accused of self-defeating behavior coupled with needless drama. Have fun throughout your time out. Perhaps consider that unbridled passion is just a tantrum with better footwear while you're there.